Alright, so I find unboxing videos incredibly boring. There's a box, let's get to what was in the box. Here is the generator itself. I wear kind of about an extra large glove size-wise. My hands aren't huge, but they just fit into an extra large glove. But you can see how small that generator is just compared to my hand. It's a very compact generator. It's really nice on that little DeWalt table. What it came with, I got some braking oil, got a user manual, some spark plug tools, a funnel, and I wish they would, I mean, I guess it's okay. I don't like twist locks, 30 amp twist lock. That's just such an old standard. It's just kind of crappy. These CT30P connectors are what some of the newest generators are coming with. That's what this should have on the panel, but it doesn't. Still got to use this adapter. But again, this adapter is really compact, really short, so I'll give them that. As far as controls go, I do wish it had an hour meter, but that's okay. You can add that really easy, which I'm going to do this one. But we have idle control, so after the generator's warmed up, we can hit low idle, or basically idle control on, and that'll let the generator drop all the way down to idle RPM, and then we'll auto ramp up. We have a circuit breaker, 30 amp breaker. We can switch between gas and propane. I'm not sure what this little reset does. It might be to purge propane, which might be why there's that arrow there, but I'm going to figure that out. Propane inlet. We have it says 20 amp Edison style plug on here, but that's usually in a 15 amp format, so I'm not sure what they're doing there. Doesn't matter really, I won't use it. 20 amp breaker. We have parallel connection here, so we can parallel two of these for 6,000 or actually 6,400 watts of power. If you wanted to do these in parallel, that is incredible. And then there's the twist lock connector itself. Let's see. We do have, two very large intake vents to cool the inverter. So air will actually be sucked through this generator, through those vents, and that's what actually cools the inverter and then cools the motor itself. Very good looking generator. I think it's really classy in the gray and the black. Again, very compact. See on the back side here, got a spark arrestor. Not even sure if that's really a spark arrestor. It's just a screen. I'm gonna have to pull that out to see if there's actually an arrestor on there, like the little insert. That'll actually be nice if it doesn't, because those are annoying. But it does meet federal regulations and California hippie stuff and all that. So I guess that's good enough. Hey guys, Garage here. And to my left, I have a very special generator. Doesn't look like anything special, but the details are in the specifications. This is a very important leap forward in technology, and I spent my own cash on it, no sponsorship, nothing. Read through the details on it, ordered it up right away. And the reason why it's so special is several reasons. I've got really four main reasons. First reason is going to be dual fuel. Those have been around a while, right? You can run it off propane, run it off gas. That's a very important spec, because now I don't have to carry gas with me when I go camping or, for my travel trailer. I can just run it off my propane tank. Another very important detail on it is the weight of the generator. This thing is crazy lightweight for how much power it puts out. Let me put it in perspective. So my Predator 3500 watt generator, my old tried true Predator, everybody's probably got one. I mean, a super popular generator. That's a 102 pound generator. With fuel, that generator weighs 116 pounds, which is actually really common for generators in the 3,000 watt range, continuous power output range. This generator over here weighs 47 pounds. If I run it on propane, it stays at 47 pounds. It's extremely lightweight. Not only that, another one of those key factors is it's very compact. Let me put up this little slide really quick, and I'll show you the difference in size, just footprint wise. I did a quick drawing off measurements to scale of how small this is compared to the Predator. Let's check that out. All right, so now that you've checked out the size difference, I've spoken to the weight difference on this thing, let's talk about value, and that's where this thing really hits hard. Predator 3500 at this time right now is like $899. A lot of other generators out there in the 3,000 watt range, they're between, like, for a quality one, they're between like $800 and again getting up to the $1,000 range. At the time of this video, this guy comes in at $600, actually sub $600. Dual fuel, huge power output, and extremely lightweight, and it's coming in, again, like I said, sub $600. You can't go wrong with that. That's why I bought it, my own cash. I'm really excited about it. So let's get into what I always do with generators and stuff like this. We're going to tear off all the panels. We're going to take a look at what makes it tick. I'll see if I can identify who the contract manufacturer was, who actually made this for Pulsar. Again, if you've seen my other videos, you know that most generators these days, especially imported ones, are all made by just a handful of manufacturers that private label. But this is one of the newest generators out there with the latest tech. Again, 3,000, actually 3,200 continuous watts on fuel, and it's the size of just a standard 1,600 to 2,200 watt generator. Again, that's what makes this thing so special, and that's why I'm doing the video. Let's tear into this thing. And boom, I don't know what happened. It kind of all just fell apart. Anyways, looking over this thing, took a little bit to get it all pulled out, but actually came apart relatively easy with about a million little screws, but that's totally fine. I can put it back together. Manufacturer, the contract manufacturer was Dinking, D-I-N-K-I-N-G. Got no idea if I'm pronouncing that right. So it's not a Dukar like the Ryobis or a lot of the other small engines, but this is a Dinking. And they have tons of generators. I'm going to post up a little website link to them right here. And I'm back. And yeah, they also have variants of this generator in blue and black, as I just showed you. But this is a control panel. Got our LED circuit board here, idle switches, the 30 amp connector, parallel connections, propane something, regulator valve thing, I don't know. I don't know propane too well. I am not a Hank Hill, that's for sure. I've always been General Gasoline. We do have the fuel shutoff switch here. I've got to probe these with a meter. So these two wires that go into the fuel shutoff, that's what actually kills the motor when you turn it to off. I don't want it to do that if I'm ever running it on fuel. I want it to just stay running. So my bet is that these just go open when the fuel or when the switch is off, and when you have the switch on run, I think these basically make a loop. I think there's an electrical contact in there, but I have to test that with the multimeter. If that's the case, I'll be able to go to this plug right here and just jumper. You can see we got orange and yellow going into that plug. The output side, we have those two wires, a red, black, and a black. We'll probably end up just jumpering those, and then that will keep the generator running until fuel is completely out of the carburetor. Inverter, all potted. I noticed that. Generally protected electronics that they prevent you from working on. If something burns up, you just got to buy a new one. Really like the generator assembly itself. Standard recoil, air cooled, air blows through the back past the exhaust, but it's a very nicely put together unit. And the carburetor is definitely way beyond just a basic gasoline carburetor. There's a lot going on for the propane side, so that's kind of interesting. Again, I'm a little bit of a novice when it comes to propane, so a lot of stuff going on there. I took off the valve cover gasket. I did this on purpose. When I get a generator, as per my other videos, when they're brand spanking new, I'll always take the valve cover gasket off right away, or the valve cover off right away, so I can get the valve cover gasket. This valve cover gasket likely will not be stuck on a brand new generator. Once the generator's run for a while and heated up, this paper gasket will become a part of the generator and never come off. So what I do when they're brand new is I'm going to run just a tiny bit of grease all around this gasket, just regular, just like a lithium grease, or I'll just use like a marine grease, just a tiny little thin layer of it. And then that way, for all of time, if I've got to do valve clearances, I'll be able to take this off and reuse that gasket because there's no oil pressure or anything behind this. It just is a very thin paper gasket, not a big deal, but grease it and then you can reuse that gasket for a very long time because I don't know how easy it is going to be to get that gasket. The brand name, you can see that right there. Website that I linked you. Huge exhaust system. One thing I noticed, I don't think there's a spark arrestor in here that I can tell. It just looks like a screen, which actually is a really good thing. I can't stand spark arresters. Let me see if I can grab a screwdriver over here really fast. Sorry. Lots of air from that air conditioner. Hopefully it's not grounded everything out. Let's see what we have under here. As we kind of know on the Predator generators, they kind of suck when it comes to the spark arrestor. They like to clog up, and if they're not jetted, wow, this guy is on there. There we go. Pulled it off. So it's got the muffler, the exhaust system. And then this is, I guess, what they consider their arrestor, which is just a metal mesh. So that actually is really good to see. Because the ones with the really, really thick mesh for a spark arrestor, those things love to clog up. So I'm glad that that's all that is. Put that back on, and there we go. We have, so let me put this back on. I'm going to have to ask them on valve clearances. They didn't, or the valve lash setting, they didn't have it in the manual, so that's kind of annoying. It says contact a Pulsar service center. Yeah, because those are everywhere, right? So I'm going to have to get what the lash is on that, and we'll set that later after it gets several hundred hours on it. Oil spout. Well, that's pretty much it. So I've blown this thing up to look at all the internals so you guys don't have to. Like I said, 2 fuel filters. Just interesting, that's all. Nothing, it's like a charcoal canister, I believe. Nothing too much to write home about. But again, all the electronics, some kind of propane control thingy. We'll go with that answer. Alright, so how the hell am I going to get this back together? I know. I'm going to take a Band-Aid and then, and boom, just like that, it's all back together. All screws accounted for, no extra parts. That's always a good thing. I am getting ready for the first start after I've waited all the warranties. So I filled it up, takes 15 ounces of oil, just with their included oil for break-in. One thing I noticed, I actually thought I saw an oil drain bolt here. I did not. So that means this type of generator, you've got to pour it out, which is fine because it's so lightweight. But this kind of comes really important. So you really want to keep good care of this. So not only can you fill it really easy with this, if you insert it and then tip the generator on its side and dump it out, that actually will let all the oil come out without making a big mess inside the generator. Wish they did have a little better drain system, is what it is for these little tiny generators. So I'll take this out, going to put the oil cap back on, and we're going to give it its first start, and hopefully it goes easy. Alright, so I have never started this thing. It is truly a first start. It is cold, so slowly turn on the propane tank. Let's make sure it's sets propane. We're going to take low idle off. Now, in all fairness, I saw another gentleman try to start one of these and he pulled it till his arm fell off on propane, but he found out if you left it just on run, that it actually started up really quick on run versus choking it on propane. So we're going to try it on just run. And I've also read with some of these propane generators that if you just kind of prime the carb just a little bit, kind of slow on the rope, it can help it a little bit to start. So let's see what we got. We've got our tank on again. We're on run. I think we're as good as we're going to get. See how many pulls it takes. pain in the ass to start. I think we're all set. There she is. Not sure what I did differently to make it start that time other than just flip the switch around a little bit. No idea if it just happened to be the timing or flipping the switch, but that's what it took. It's running really smooth. It's got, one thing I didn't show on camera, it's got some very big, thick rubber isolators in the bottom, which is pretty nice. Running really smooth. Very quiet. Definitely, I would say equal or quieter than my 3500. I can easily have just a talking conversation over this generator while it's at least at idle, no problem. We're gonna let it run just at idle for probably, I don't know, 15-20 minutes, let it warm up. I'm gonna put some alternating loads on it a little bit, just a heat gun on low, take it off, put it on, take it off, and in about an hour, I'm gonna go ahead and drain the oil and put some good oil in it. And then we will do a consumption test. We'll do a 50% load on the generator, which is what I'll be using it at, which is about 1500 watts. We'll put it on for an hour. We'll weigh the propane tank before and after and see how it goes. So I finally figured out how to start this generator on propane easily. As you saw on the first cold start, it took like 15 pulls. It's kind of a pain in the butt to start. And I'm like, there's got to be a better way. And what I found out is the line itself, there's a lot of air in it. And this doesn't use a lot of propane, so it has to purge out all the air before it lets you start. So my method to start this easy, I'm just going to demonstrate it. The generator's totally cold. It's been sitting for like, I don't know, an hour or so. You can see I can just touch the exhaust. It's not warmed up, nothing. It's completely cold. But the way to start it easy, probably going to block it, is just barely screw it on the connector, leave it open just a little bit. Go ahead and put your regulator on the tank. There's a slight bit of danger here, but this generator doesn't have a purge valve or anything for the propane, so that's kind of why we have to do it this way. So I'm going to go ahead and turn propane on, back off the connector. I can hear propane flowing. I'm going to give it just about that long will do. All right. Now let's see if it'll start. Usually it's been starting now after I tried this method. It'll start in like the first 3 pulls. So let's see how it does. First pull. That is the trick right there. Now I'm completely happy with this generator. So that's been my only complaint, is this thing is a real pain in the butt to start when it's cold. So there you go. So I've got the generator nice and toasty now. Now on propane, I've read a lot of generators have problems starting again once they're hot. On gasoline, not a problem, but on propane, they have problems. So let's check this out, see how this does. Let's go ahead and turn it off. I'm gonna flip this off the low idle. That's it. All right, now let's, let me put it back to run. Let's see how it starts. Oh, very nice. So it does hot start on propane very, very easy. That's cool. So the generator's been broken in for an hour now, and I drained the oil. It was just as simple as using the funnel, putting it in the hole, and dumping it into this container. You can kind of see what the oil looks like. There's definitely some metal particulates in there. Pretty normal, to be honest with you, for a first time run break-in and that kind of deal. So what we're going to do, I've got a little copy strainer deal here with some paper towel in it, and I'm going to slowly pour this oil, which is super hot, because I always drain oil from small generators while it's hot, because that helps flush out all the like contaminants or anything that may have settled in the bottom. So I'm going to pour it into this coffee strainer and see if I see anything abnormal that I can't see just on the surface other than just a little metallic haze. And let's see what we get. So I'm going to do that off camera so I don't scald myself with oil. So after running it through the paper, now it's kind of hard to pick up on camera, but I don't really see anything in the paper towel. I would have liked to use a, let me throw this away. I would have liked to use a actual coffee filter, but I didn't have any paper filters. Change this up for a second. And now on the bottom of the container, there's a little bit of glitter. You can just catch it. Overall, nothing to be worried about. Again, a very normal break-in. Very, very happy with that. I've already filled it back up with some T6 1540. I know it calls for 1040, but I work and run in a very hot climate here in Arizona. So 1540 is my choice. You do what you want to do. I'm not telling you to use that. That's what I use. So T6 1540 in my generator here in Arizona. And that's it for the first oil change. I appreciate you guys watching. That wraps up this video. I've got more content coming on this generator where I'm going to be putting in an hour meter, doing some other little modifications, so do watch out for that. I hope this video helps you, especially the how to do a cold start. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys watching. Like, subscribe, and I will catch you later.